Well, I'm Dave Epstein, this is Growing Wisdom, and we're going to talk about watering today. We're going to talk about when to water and what to water and how much to water. Those are the three things we'll be speaking about. So let's talk about when. When you're watering plants outside, whether it's your lawn, trees, shrubs, annuals, the best thing to do is water them early in the morning. Water them between about 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. The reason to water early in the morning is that the sun can be very strong during the middle part of the day. If you water then, each little drop of water can act like a magnifying glass, and that can burn the leaves. So the when is important. What about how much? I like to say water your lawn 3/4 to an inch of water per week during the summer. Now, how do you know how much you're watering? Whether you have a sprinkler or whether you have an irrigation system, you really don't know how much water it's putting out. Thus the reason these are in my hand. If you put one of these in the lawn, turn your irrigation system or your sprinkler on, let it go for say 15 minutes. If you get 1/4 inch, you'll get 1 inch an hour. That's a good measure of how much water your system's putting out. As far as how much to water, say, containers of annuals, it's really dependent on the container, the soil type, so it's tough for me to tell you. What I like to do is just kind of feel in there. If it feels like it's evenly moist, that's a good indication you have enough water. If the plants are wilting, you better water them. I know that seems rather simple, but again, every system's different. What about trees and shrubs? Big trees that are established probably don't need water during the course of the year unless you're in an incredibly major drought. Any plant material that's newly placed in your yard should be watered as soon as it's put in, and then I like to say to continue to water it evenly throughout the first growing season. That will help it get established. And just like I talked about with the containers, it's very difficult for me to tell you this perennial needs this much water and this small shrub needs this much water. Everything's different. Something like sedum or a little cactus, you don't have to water that at all. It's probably, once established, not going to need any water. But something like an astilbe likes it fairly wet. So depending on your soil and the type, you really need to know your garden and what your soil needs and what your plants need. And getting back to those lawns, even a lawn can be different. If you have really great soil, you'll need a little less water. Really sandy soil, a lot of hot sun, you'll need a little more water. Most of us tend to water our lawns more often than anything else. So I like to say it's a good idea to know exactly how much water you're putting out. That way you can conserve and certainly not overwater. Wherever you're watching this video, be sure to go to growingwisdom.com, register for our newsletter, and find out other tips, hints, and helps each month. I'm Dave Epstein.